Immutable. What does immutable mean?
Unchanged.
Unchanged. Something is fixed. It's not going to change. So that would mean that mutable means the opposite, which is going to change. That's right. What about diadem? It is a crown. Very good. All right. So reviewing, going backwards. What is garish?
Wait, what? Hold on, wait, did we do?
It could be shiny, but it doesn't mean shiny.
Are these all for
Does it
today?
show off?
I don't know.
It's almost just kind of tasteless. It's too much. So you have, I mean, it could be hair, it could be furniture, it could be jewelry.
Isn't it like something it's like someone's like how you use extra?
Yes, it is. It is how you use extra. Okay, what about emanate? Emanate means what?
I forgot.
Oh, like come up from,
Yes,
or come out of?
to come out of. Yes, to come out of. All right, what about adulterate? Adulterate, anybody?
Make impure.
Make impure and idolatry.
Idolatry is, I forgot. Idolatry means, oh, to like idolize, not knowing.
That is the verb form to idolize. Yes, so it means to be even blindly, yes, adore something, worship it. That's right. So guys, tomorrow in the library, we're going to have our 2 new words tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and do bell work, our vocabulary in the library, so we won't get behind. So we'll do, bucolic and redolent, and then we'll go ahead and review the other 6 words. So after we do that, you guys will be able to find a book and read. So please bring your computers. If you've got a physical book that you're reading, bring that as well. I've already put the grades in for the AR. And so you guys can see that is something that AR, that is immutable. That means I can't change it. Ms. Parker can't change it. It's fixed. The next due date is December 18th. I know it seems like it's far away, but it's really not. If I were you, I would go ahead and get a book and get it done, because the holidays are going to be very busy. You know how Thanksgiving is, and then we come back for a couple of weeks. It's Christmas. So I would go ahead and be getting your book and reading it. You'll have time to do that tomorrow.
What you were doing, mutable and diadem?
Yes.
Window,
And then we
window.
come back. And then we go for another break.
Window, window.
And then we go back to Ms. Riggs,
Yes.
can you imagine a Thanksgiving break and Christmas break was one break?
It'd be a long break.
It would be really. Yeah, instead of having Thanksgiving break and then come back to school and then another break. Break.
I know it.
That'd be amazing though.
It's hard to come back though.
The Fable.
I'll make a note. Okay, hey guys, listen. It is important. It is very important that you're checking your eSchool and all your classes, making sure that your grades look like they want to. Particularly if if you miss and you're making something up. Oh my Lord, I'm just sharing that with everybody. Hang on, guys. Hang on just a second, and I'm recording it. Wonderful. No one can see the grades now. I'm going to make a note and do that later. So we'll just continue. No one saw anything. I'm not speaking. All right, I will make a note of that though. I'll make it right now.
Hey, Miss Riggs.
Yes.
So I looked at the grade book and it says that I did get my 100 out of 100, but I know I got extra bonus points. So
Yes. Okay. Here's the deal with bonus. Hey guys, listen. Miss Eggers and I had a conversation. So we've adjusted the bonus because it is like it is. You're able to take a test anywhere, and not that it's not amazing, but we did lower it. So now you have to score 150 points above your goal, 150% to get 5 points. 200, 250 is 10 points. 250, 300 is 15. If you score over 300, the most you can get is 20 points. So it does cap off. It tops off. for that, because 20 points is a lot of bonus points. So I did turn that in. Thank you for bringing that up, Robert. So your Beowulf quiz, I will fix later. Okay. All right, guys, let's go ahead and read our sentences. Immutable, Tyler. Shh, let's listen. Tyler's reading immutable.
The amendments to the Constitution are.
Very good. They are very good. All right, Sierra.
Once the teacher decided on a due date and her mind was made up, it was immutable.
Perfect. And Abigail.
The Ten Commandments are immutable.
Yes. Brennan reads, my curfew every night is immutable. Good. Daniel. Although I tried to get the bank president to change his mind about giving me the loan, I finally realized his decision was immutable. Good. And Caden. It is immutable for Michael Jordan to be better than LeBron James. And Braden.
I left my hair immutable this morning.
Okay. Left my hair immutable. You didn't mean you didn't.
Like, he didn't say
He just learned. You can't change it.
Right. But okay. I know you used it like that. We really I'm gonna leave it alone. But guys, immutable again is something that again it can never, you want to think like it can never be changed. That's I almost said something with the Michael Jordan, because I mean he could beat LeBron James. It's possible. So immutable is something that you think it's not going to happen. It can't happen, right? So that's why I'm hesitant on that, but I'm not going to mark that wrong. Okay, Jacob.
How many points am I going to score this season?
I don't know.
0.
Jacob, you want to read your sentence for? The past is immutable, but we can work on the future. That is perfect. The past is immutable, but the future we can work on. I love that. Okay, Grant. Okay, and Logan. Good, perfect. Y'all got it. Landon. The school's norms are immutable. That's right. Typically, that they might look at something during the handbook committee changes, but that's something that, those solid rules that are there, like wardrobe, attire, things like that are not likely to change. That's right. All right, Jonah. Perfect. Okay, Diadem, Tyler. Oh, look at you using sapient. Sapient means what, guys?
Why?
Wise. So you'd want the wise man wearing the crown, the diadem. Perfect. Or the wise woman. Sierra.
The princess was given a diadem on her 16th birthday.
Beautiful. Thank you. Abigail.
If you are royalty, typically given a diadem.
Love it. All right, Brennan. The girl was given a diadem when she completed all of her achievements. Daniel. Michael was ready enough to promise everything, and the diadem was placed on his head. Good. Landon. I love how I feel when I wear a diadem. Yes. Very powerful. Braden.
he will wear a diadem to show his power.
Beautiful. And Grant?
A king, that's a diadem.
Yes. Logan? Perfect. And Jacob? My dad passed down the diadem of playing baseball to me and my brother. Okay, so the like what is it? Okay, Jacob, did you mean like that to be like passed down the crown of playing baseball? Do you mean like you mean like a gift of playing baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crown. It means it's a crown. It's okay, well, so you could just say my dad passed down the diadem of our family, the jewel or something. You want to keep that? That's good. All right, Kaden. In the movie Cinderella, she wore a diadem. Perfect. Okay, guys, perfect. So now we are going to read Le Morte d'Arthur, and after we read Le Morte d'Arthur, it's very short. This is our first piece we're reading that's in prose. What is the difference between prose and poetry?
Sorry. Like
Perfect. Grant answered it. Poetry has like a form it has to uphold to. Some poetry rhymes, some poetry doesn't rhyme, and some, like a sonnet, has 14 lines. So you can see this, looking at it, it looks like normal text. Everything that's not poetry is prose. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read this. And this is, again, just a couple pages. And again, this is the passing of Arthur from mort d'Arthur, or that means death of Arthur. It's what mort means. All right, so this says the final book of Sir Thomas Malory's Mort d'Arthur. It was written during the 15th century, deals with Arthur's death. Arthur has been fatally wounded in a battle with his son Mordred. Now, let me give you just a quick little before. You're not getting obviously all of this. So what happened before then? Arthur has a very bad dream, and in his dream, he's sitting on his crown, and he tips over in the water, and all of these like serpents and demons start pulling him apart. And so he wakes up frightened, and they try to calm him down. He says, "Well, I had a nightmare," and he says, "I need to see Lancelot. I need Lancelot to come to help me." And it's predicted that he is to not battle Mordred for a certain amount of time. All right, until Lancelot can join him, because it's predicted that if he goes into battle before that, he'll be defeated. All right, so he and Mordred have a truce. They have a peace where they're not going to fight for a while. During that truce, they both tell their people, like Arthur goes back and says, "Okay, Mordred," because if you think about like Mordred is his, isn't it his son? His son. It's his enemy, right? Mordred is who kills Arthur, and Arthur kills Mordred. But anyway, they're in this battle. So at their camps, they say, Arthur tells his people, if you see a sword, you start fighting. Don't hesitate. Mordred tells his men the same thing. What happens is, it's someone on King Arthur's side sees a snake, so he pulls his sword out to kill it. That starts the war. And it's a terrible, terrible war. Arthur loses. Well, they both lose so many people. And this is all this happens right before this scene right here. He does kill Mordred, but Mordred also has given him a blow to the head. His head is like he's badly wounded. So it says 2 knights carry Arthur from battle. All right, Sir Lucan took up the king the one part, and Sir Bedivere the other part. And in the lifting, the king swooned, and Sir Lucan fell in a swoon with the lift. This was, he was heavy, that the part of his guts fell out of his body, and where would the noble knight's heart brast. And when the king awoke, he beheld Sir Lucan, how he lay foaming at the mouth, and part of his guts lay at his feet. So I want you to look at this example. This is one of his followers, helping him. Obviously, he is wounded terribly. His insides are coming out, and he's still trying to help. Alas, said the king, this is to me a full heavy sight, to see this noble duke so die for my sake. For he would have helped me that had more need of help than I. So he was trying to help me, and obviously he was more wounded than I am. Alas, he would not complain him. His heart was so set to help me. Now, Jesus, have mercy upon his soul. Then Sir Bedivere wept for the death of his brother, because that was Sir Lucan died there. Okay, so that's an example of what? When we see that example of a knight, Sir Lucan, what was he doing? He was serving his king.
Oh, what's he called?
Not even thinking of himself, because his king had given him things. It is selflessness.
Isn't that a vocabulary word?
It is. It was.
Oh, man.
It begins with a C. 4 syllables.
Give me another hint.
C-O.
Give me another one.
M.
Give me another one.
Comitatus. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's comitatus for sure. Okay, so next, leave this mourning and weeping, said the king, for all this will not avail me. For with thy will, and I might live myself, the death of Sir Lucan would grieve me evermore. But my time is fast. So he's like, I'm about to die. Therefore, said Arthur unto Bedivere, take thou Excalibur, my good sword, and go with it to yonder waterside, And when thou comest there, I charge thee, throw my sword in the water, and come again and tell me what thou there seest. My lord, said Bedivere, your commandment shall be done, and lightly bring you word again. So, of course, this is Arthur trying to tell him to make sure the sword goes to where it needs to go, right? Now, this is a little bit, I find it a little bit humorous because we're seeing the human side again of a knight, kind of like we saw human side of Sir Gawain, like, well, I really value my life. Okay. So Sir Bedivere departed, and by the way, he beheld that noble sword, that the pommel and the haft was all of precious stones. It's like he's looking at it going, gosh, this is such a nice thing just to throw in the water. He's dying. He's not going to know the difference. Okay, so he says, and then he said to himself, if I throw this rich sword in the water, there shall never come good, but harm and loss. And then Sir Bedivere hid Excalibur under a tree. And so as soon as he might, he came again under the king. Sir, he said, I saw nothing but waves and winds. That is untruly said of thee, said the king. Therefore go thou lightly again, and do my commandment as thou art to me lief. And dear, spare not, but throw it in. So he goes back to Arthur. He lies. He said, I threw it in. All I saw was water and wind. He goes like, no, you're lying. Do it again. Then Sir Bedivere returned again and took the sword in his hand, and then him thought sin and shame to throw away the noble sword. And so after he hid the sword and returned again, and told to the king he had been at the water and done his commandment. What saw thou there, said the king. Sir, he said, I saw nothing but the waters wap and waves whine. O traitor and true, said King Arthur, thou hast thou betrayed me twice. Who would have weened that thou that hast been so to me so lief and dear, and thou art named a noble knight, and would betray me for the richness of the sword. But now go again lightly, for thy long tarrying putteth me in great jeopardy of my life, for I have taken cold. But if thou do now as I bid thee, if ever I may see thee, I shall slay thee with mine own hands, for thou wouldst for my rich sword send me dead. Arthur's like, look, go do it, because you're valuing material goods over what I'm telling you to do. Do it, or I'm going to kill you. Then Sir Bedivere departed and went to the sword and lightly took it up and went to the water side. And there he bound the girdle about the hilts, and then he threw the sword as far into the water as he might. And there came an arm and a hand above the water and met it and caught it, and so shook it thrice and brandished 3 times, and then vanished away the hand with the sword in the water. So Sir Bedivere came again to the king and told him what he saw. Alas, said the king, help me hence, for I dread me, I have tarried over long. Then fast by the bank hovered a little barge with many fair ladies on it, and among them all was a queen, and they all had black hoods, and they all wept and shrieked when they saw King Arthur. Now put me into the barge, said the king, and so he did softly. And there received him 3 queens with great mourning. And so they set them down, and in one of their laps King Arthur laid his head. And then that queen said, Ah, dear brother, why have you tarried so long from me? Alas, this wound on your head hath caught over much cold. And so then they rode from the land, and Sir Bedivere beheld all those ladies go from him. Then Sir Bedivere cried, Ah, my lord Arthur, what shall become of me? Now ye go from me, and leave me here alone among mine enemies. Comfort thyself, said the king, and do as well as thou mayest, for in me is no trust for to trust in. For I will into the vale of Avalon to heal me of my grievous wound, and if thou hear never more of me, pray for my soul. But ever the queens and ladies wept and shrieked, but it was pity to hear. And as soon as Bedivere had lost the sight of the barge, he wept and wailed, and so took the forest. And so he went all that night, and in the morning he was ware, betwixt 2 holts hoar of a chapel and a hermitage. Then was Sir Bedivere glad, and thither he went. And when he came into the chapel, he saw where lay a hermit groveling on all 4. There fast by a tomb was new graven. When the hermit saw Sir Bedivere, he knew him well, for he was but little to fore Bishop of Canterbury, that Sir Mordred flemmed. Sir, said Bedivere, what man is there interred that you pray so fast for? Fair son, said the hermit, I wot not verily, but by deeming. But this night at midnight here came a number of ladies, and brought hither a dead corpse, and prayed me to bury him. And here they offered 100 tapers, and they gave me 100 bezants. Alas, said Bedivere, that was my lord King Arthur, that here lieth buried in this chapel. Then Sir Bedivere swooned, and when he awoke, he prayed the hermit he might abide with him still there, to live with fasting and prayers. For them hence will I never go, said Sir Bedivere, by my will, but all the days of my life here to pray for my lord Arthur. Ye are welcome to me, said the hermit. Then Sir Bedivere told the hermit all as ye have heard tofore. So there abode Sir Bedivere with the hermit that was tofore Bishop of Canterbury. And there Sir Bedivere put upon him poor clothes, and served the hermit full lowly in fasting and in prayers. Thus of Arthur I find never more written in books that be authorized, nor more of the very certainty of his death I never read. But thus was he led away in a ship wherein were 3 queens, that one was King Arthur's sister, Queen Morgan le Fay, the other was the Queen of Northgalis, the third was the Queen of the Wastelands. Also there was Nemeu, the chief lady of the lake, that had wedded Peleus, the good knight, and this lady had done much for King Arthur, for she would never suffer Sir Peleus to be in no place where he should be in danger of his life. And so he lived the uttermost of his days with her in great rest. More of the death of King Arthur could I never find, but that ladies brought him to his burials. And such one was buried there, that the hermit bare witness that sometime was Bishop of Canterbury. But yet the hermit knew not in certain that he was verily the body of King Arthur. For this tale Sir Bedivere, not of the Round Table, made it be written. Yet some men say in many parts of England that King Arthur is not dead, but had by the will of our Lord Jesus into another place. And men say that he shall come again, and he shall win the Holy Cross. I will not say it shall be so, but rather I will say, here in this world he changed his life. But many men say that there is written upon his tomb this verse. So and he will return. Okay, so that is Le Morte d'Arthur. And very interesting, we see another side, which I think his death and burial is interesting, but even more interesting to me is Bedivere and Lucan's the reaction to his death or his dying. So what I've done here is put a journal entry for you. It's just one question, and if you haven't answered journal 4, I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that, and then I want you to answer journal 5 in response to Le Morte d'Arthur. So this response is, Sir Gawain, and it's having you talk about Sir Gawain and Sir Bedivere, show their weakness in the excerpts we read. Who is more weak in your opinion, Sir Gawain or Sir Bedivere? So again, you're having to explain which one you choose, which one you are thinking is more weak or shows more weakness in the excerpts. Again, Sir Gawain, his weakness was what? When he took the sash, right? But it was saving his life, but he took it and he did cover it up. Or Bedivere, who had to be told how many times? 3 times to throw Excalibur into the lake, right? And the 3rd time he finally does it, but he's thinking about it, looking at it, going, "What?"
He's like greedy, like walk over that way.
Absolutely.
It's like that's only gonna be bad coming out of this.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. So go ahead and respond to both of those, in your journal. Go to your journal. It's in your journal there. And you need to just add this to your document that you already have your journal. Response 4 was from the other day, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Didn't you guys have time to do that already? But if you haven't, please do that. If you notice these lines, this means it's going to go on second 9 weeks. I've already graded everything up above that. Okay, so this will all go on second quarter. Go ahead and knock it out, though, because if you try to put this off and do it weeks from now, you'll be thinking, "No, wait a minute, who was Sir Bedivere and what was going on?" So go ahead and respond now.
What do we name it?
You can name it Journal Response 5, and it's Le Morte d'Arthur. Journal.
Hey, Miss Riggs.
Yes.
What is a hermit?
What?
What is a hermit?
A
Yes.
hermit is someone who, the definition, they don't particularly do anything. They stay in very close, focusing on one thing, one aspect. And so here, sir, you see Sir Bedivere, it's almost like I think in a way he is redeeming himself from what he did with the act of the Excalibur. So he is making up for it by serving Arthur and praying for his soul. That's what he's dedicated to. So even in Arthur's death, he's doing that. Did that help at all?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, let me just. I've never defined a hermit. Yeah, a person living in solitude as a religious discipline. We know it's not a hummingbird, but anyway, hummingbird found in the lower shades. Okay, so that's he's being, praying for his soul, being religious there. Has everyone got their journal opened? Awesome. So this is what we're doing right now.
Mr. Riggs, is there anything else that we're doing after this?
We are, yes, we are going to, I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to finish this, to try this out, because I haven't given you a length yet. I'm going to do that starting second quarter. So these are just short. But I'm going to go ahead and have you watch Dr. Maslow right here, what we're on. It's over the Canterbury Tales, and it's just 15 minutes. And so I thought we would do that. They're just 3 and they're just 15 minutes long. So I thought we'd knock out one today. Does that answer? Okay, good. Journal number 6.
Oh my God. No.
Miss Riggs,
Yes,
are the videos that we're about to watch, are they on Classroom?
they are. I put them, hang on, let me see if I've published them yet. They should be. Canterbury Tales. If I haven't published them, I'm about to. Okay, they are. They shall be in just a moment. Working on that. Okay, there. They are there. It's under the Canterbury Tales. And so the first here is the PDF, and then you have the PDF of the 2 little tales we're going to read. So we're about to watch this first podcast here and this, guys, this is going to be the end of it. Dr. Maslow, I don't have any other videos picked out, but these are the last 3. So we'll just do 1 today, and we'll do 2 on Monday.
Wait, we won't be here tomorrow?
We are going to be in the library tomorrow.
Oh, another question.
Yes.
I didn't hear what we were supposed to be doing. I was outside trying to fix my freaking car.
Oh, okay. Well, have you finished Journal 6? Or I'm sorry, Journal 5? You answered that one?
I'm going to have to go through and answer all of these because I haven't started on the journals yet. My bad.
Okay, no. So you're just starting with Journal 4 though, right? You've already done the other up here. All those, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So 5 and 6, so 4 and 5 right now. Good. Okay, guys, is it too early to ask? I know some are still writing. What do y'all think? Who do you think is Sir Benevir's weaker? Okay,
Yeah.
he shows more. What did you say?
Because he was trying to keep the sword for his own greed. Like, he wouldn't have got any benefit from it besides, like, if he would have, like, money or something, he would have sold it. So Sir Gawain took to the green sash because it was, like, going to save his life, and he didn't want to die.
Okay, all right, good answer for that. What else? But did Sir Bedivere redeem himself? I mean, he did eventually. It took him.
He did redeem himself, but it's like, in the moment type scenario, it's like.
Sure. I know. No, you're right. It took him 3 times to do it, and Arthur had to threaten him, like, "Look, do it, or I'm gonna bust you up. You're gonna do this, or I'm taking you out." Okay. Anybody else? Anybody mention how he does pray for his soul? He's making up for it. They're both human. I'm sure he felt really bad about it. Anybody else want to share? Anybody virtual want to share what they thought, they put down? Okay. Or are you confused?
When you click on the virtual students,
Yeah.
we don't see their faces.
It's
We see
hard to
the whole
use,
time.
I know it. I know you do. I know.
You don't have the camera on.
I know. Well, they do. They're supposed to be there unless they let me know they're like stepping off or stepping away from it. But, yeah.
That's against the law. We can see you.
Well, I know they didn't get what he did.
See you.
Right.
So usually when they join, they have their camera on, so like, hey, and then you just turn your camera on.
Right. And you end up knowing who's really, if there's someone who's not really hanging around.
At least they show them.
They do, and they speak. We love to hear that. We love to hear your voices, virtual people, virtual persons. Okay, guys, who else is still writing? Are we finished? I'm hearing, no, you're fine. I'm hearing just chatter about other things besides Sir Bedivere. Are you all finished? So we're ready. Let's get in, Dr. Moss. Let's knock out 10 minutes and you have tech time. That way we'll just have 2 to finish on Monday, and then you will not have any more videos, sadly, because he's brilliant from Dr. Mossolo. Okay, so guys, keep your journal open for Dr. Mossolo because we're going to do 5 facts from this Dr. Mossolo under the Canterbury Tales. And I'm going to go ahead and start it now. And it is fantastic.
Tales.
I will skip this little introduction because we know what he's going to say.
High value assessments. All other.
Yep. Oh, I think he's.
As you want to your understanding of the poem.
I have an academic crush on this man. I don't know. I think he's. No, I just think he's so brilliant. I don't know. Yes, guys. Yes, hang on. You're taking.
Retails.
Oops. Hang on. You are taking in your journal. Remember, you are doing your 5 facts, and you're going to put them right under what you wrote about Sir Gawain or Sir Bedivere a minute ago. So we're just listing at Journal 6, and not really response 3. 5 facts from Dr. Mossolo's first video. Right? Let me write first, and I will stop if I need to stop. Mm-hmm. And those of you, my virtual people, if you're having trouble, just cannot stand to watch it as we do it, if you want to go ahead and you need to disconnect to watch it, that's fine, because that's what we're going to be doing. We are stopping in 9 minutes for tech time. So you can watch 9 minutes of it and then stop. Or if you need to stop it as you're watching, you take the notes, that's fine. Okay, is everybody ready now? Ready to go, everybody? Hello, hello. Virtual, are you guys ready? Is everybody ready?
Yes, I'm just gonna disconnect to watch it.
I understand, Robert. I understand, Abigail. Guys, y'all are there. I want everybody to I'm sure y'all are out there because I've got some. I know. I tell them. See, Sierra's yes. They're here. Just fine. I know y'all are there. All right. So here we go. Pushing. Robert's there, and he's vocal. I love it.
Often cited as the father of English poetry. If this is true, and who am I to say that it's not? We can explain his position of prominence by looking not only at the poetry that he wrote, which I will promise you, and as you will see, is excellent, but also by taking a few minutes to consider the times that he lived in. Chaucer lived in the second half of the 14th century, toward the end of what we now call the Middle Ages. It was a time of tremendous change, both in Europe generally and in Britain specifically, and the Renaissance was just around the corner. Chaucer's most famous work, The Canterbury Tales, is both a look back on nearly 350 years of British society and a glimpse of what was to come.
Do I need to stop it? Yes, go back.
Before we proceed.
Oops. There we go. He's going to read Middle English, and he's going to have a professor from the Vanderbilt read a section of, it's the Lord's Prayer, but read it in French Norse. It's where it's Middle English. It's when the people were coming out of the Old English, the Anglo-Saxons, the wives of the Anglo-Saxon warriors who got killed are marrying Frenchmen. They're intermingling, he's going to tell you, and their children are speaking kind of a between French and Anglo-Saxon. That's why the English language is so vast, because it comes from, it's like a marriage of different countries together. So, and the French language is so beautiful, and Anglo-Saxon stuff like just basic, like, well, he'll tell you. He says it so eloquently. I'll let him tell you. Can y'all see that okay? Do I need to close the blinds? Are y'all okay? Okay.
Get rid of the blinds.
Chaucer. I'll get rid of them. You want me to close them?
Yeah, just get some curtains.
Oh, I would love that.
Make the room dark. so we can go to sleep.
Take out the windows.
I don't know, but Miss Pam did this red. I love it. I left it because I think it matches the
Who's
third
Miss
night.
Pam?
Miss Pam. She's up here.
Ann or Pam?
Pam, yeah, Ian. She's up here this summer. She cut that out. I
With
just,
a D at the end?
no.
Oh.
This blasted mask. You can't hear anything I'm saying.
So like
Pam.
principal,
Pan?
middle school,
Pam, as in
like
molasses.
Pam, like Pam Dooley, like
Miss Dooley?
It wasn't Miss Dewey.
Is it busy? I mean, it's
What's
off
her
of a
last
movie.
name?
It's off of a
Are
movie.
you talking about Pam Custodian?
Yes. I know.
I do.
She's a sweetheart. She put that in there.
I worked with her.
Are we ready to push play? We're getting off topic. We ready? I think we're ready.
Before we proceed, I need to offer a brief disclaimer. I'm not a historian, and this isn't a history course. What I'm about to do is to compress a whole lot of history into a very short presentation. I'm skipping over a lot of important stuff, and I'm characterizing some very complex historical events, most of which you've already heard about in either AP Euro or Western Civ, into cartoonishly simple terms. This gross oversimplification has two purposes and two purposes only. One, to help you to read the Canterbury Tales with some sense of the society that Chaucer describes and how it was changing. And two, how the Anglo-Saxon language made a giant leap forward toward the language that you and I speak today. Fair enough? I sure hope so. Onward.
I don't make fun of him. I don't know him.
You will recall that in the very first video podcast on the Anglo-Saxons, that the Norman conquest of 1066 ushers in the end of the Anglo-Saxon era. What I didn't mention then was that the Normans and the Anglo-Saxons
When he starts showing the maps,
on
though,
the Anglo-Saxon
my eyes kind of glaze over because I'm not a map person, but map or math. 1066. Norman tribes expel the Danes and Vikings and conquer Anglo-Saxons. I don't know how anybody survived. Look how they used to fight. That's just.
Civil War.
I think we should just fight with words. Just send each other letters, and that would be. Would that not survive everything? Just the best writer.
It would be really funny though.
It would. The
Like
best.
send a letter.
How
dare you? I'm gonna fight you now.
Yes.
Kill someone with a letter.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're reading a letter and they're like, I stabbed thee with sword. And
Well,
they're
I
just
mean,
like, oh, they're dead.
sure. Just use rhetoric. Cut them up. Metaphorically speaking. Are we ready to push play? And we've got just 3-4 minutes before 10.
that the Norman conquest of 1066 ushers in the end of the Anglo-Saxon era. What I didn't mention then was that the Normans and the Anglo-Saxons were actually tribal cousins. Both of them were Germanic tribes who came to Britain from Scandinavia.
Do you want to stop it?
Yes.
Oh, just in time. Look at that.
Cousins. Both
Scandinavian ancestry. Saxon. I think it would be so awesome to go over there and travel and just see.
Is the Anglo-Saxons in, what's it called? Game of Thrones?
I do not know. I haven't read the book and I didn't even watch the whole episode. I had to turn it off.
Well, I think it is.
It was.
Cause,
Oh,
I was watching, there's a TV show on last night. I wasn't watching it, but I heard the Saxons
Mhm.
and I figured it was Game of Thrones.
Okay. Well, I think the time period, that was surely, yes. Yes. Scandinavian from Scandinavia.
Oh, so it's a country.
Yes, it is. Are we almost? We got just a minute.
Both of them were Germanic tribes who came to Britain from Scandinavia. William of Normandy, soon to be known as William the Conqueror, led the Norman invasion of Britannia in 1066. He was actually related to the Anglo-Saxon kings that he conquered, and he was spurred to action by the belief that he was entitled to the crown. His aim, therefore, was to conquer the Anglo-Saxons, not to eliminate them. In December of 1066, he was named.
Yes, I'm gonna go back and that's gonna be where we stop. That's where our tech time starts. So we all get your tech. We're starting.
We only got 4.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we can go for a little bit longer, get 5, and then
Okay.
tomorrow we can just finish. Oh, well, no, it won't be tomorrow, it'll be Monday. Because Monday we're in the library. Now, my people who are virtual will still get on. You know, we'll do vocab, and then we'll have time to read. If you'll have a question for Miss Parks, she'll be there. You can get a book. You can start reading. So I'm going to freeze that. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording for today.